Good morning. We've now reached day 3 of your first step in high school as it relates to being a student here at Florence Freshman Center. There are a few more things that we need to go over today, and then of course we need to reiterate a few things, and then on Monday you'll start your FMP classes, which will be the materials that you'll go over, that the teachers will go over with you. This is not the normal way that I like to address you. I like to address you all face to face, but dealing with our new living arrangement as it relates to the cafeteria, this is probably the most appropriate for right now until we figure out other measures. I want to make sure that you all understand something. The word education has one important letter. That letter in the word education is the letter that links the word education together. It is the letter U. You are the most important part of your education because you are the determining factor as to how your success will go during the course of this year. You have teachers at both Florence Freshman Center and Florence High School that will be working with you to try to help you be successful throughout the course of this year. You all will have to do your part to make that occur. In order for that to occur, you have to realize that school is more than 8:15 to 3:25. What does that mean, Shepard? Well, what that means is this. You're going to have to work outside of the school to be able to get and be as successful as you possibly can. It means that when teachers assign you homework or you can't finish the work in class, you're going to have to take it home and do it. And then you're going to have to sometimes get things wrong, sometimes get things right, sometimes be very resourceful by going to Khan Academy or Homework Alabama to get extra help, raising your hand in class if there's something that you don't understand, to be able to help you get where you need to get. Homework is not something that's given to you as punishment. It's something that's given to you so that you can practice, so that you can be able to make sure that you have mastery of the different content that's being covered in the classroom. It's very important that you understand that. We have all kinds of measures in place to try to help you be successful here. One thing that I need to make sure that everyone hears me say is this. Florence Freshman Center is a one-year program. There's no need for any of you to be back next year. That means it's a one-year program, then you go on to grade 10. There shouldn't be any returning freshmen during the course of next year. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that that occurs. To make sure that occurs, though, you need to make sure that you have grades that are passing and that you do all your assignments in a timely fashion. Now, for those of you who don't do assignments, I need to make sure that I also talk about this. We're going to have homework detention, which will be taking place during lunch. If you don't turn in a homework assignment, you'll be turned in to the office and we'll assign you to homework detention so that you can do your homework there. We also will have Saturday school that will be in place to be able to deal with students who have tardies, excessive tardies, or homework deficiencies. So make sure you do what you're supposed to do so that homework detention or Saturday school does not have to include you in relationship to being on the rolls of those things. I want to make sure that you understand that. I want to make sure that you hear that. I also need to go back over the dress code thing again and make sure that you understand that we're not to wear athletic shorts. We're not to wear sweatpants or sweatpants material. We don't need to wear clothing that has holes in it to where we're exposed. And I just want to make sure that you understand that. Or sleeveless or even tank tops. Those are things that are not allowed in our dress code that I've seen during the first couple of days. Cell phones, again, out of sight, out of mind. If they come out, and I'm going to take it. I just want to make sure you understand that. And I've instructed the other adults to do the same things. So keep them out of sight, out of mind, and we don't have to worry about them becoming an interruption during the course of the school day. If you have things that are valuable, make sure that you keep them on your person. Make sure that you protect them. I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody when I say this, but what I want to say is this. Sometimes things grow legs and arms and walk away. Make sure that you're responsible for the things that you bring to school that are important to you. Okay? Make sure you keep them within your eyes reach so that they don't walk away from you or that they're not taken from you during the course of the day. I also want to make sure that you understand backpacks are to go in your lockers. If you haven't got a locker yet, you need to see me or Miss Culver Davis. We need to make sure that you get a locker. Everybody should have a locker by the end of the day today. That's a very important thing. Also, usually I don't mention this early in the school year, but with the number of people who are sick and having allergies, make sure you wash your hands when you use the bathroom. Don't drink after anybody else. If you cough, make sure you cover your mouth when you do so we can minimize the spread of germs here at the school. In the classrooms, I encourage you all to follow the directions of the teachers, please. They have those directions for a reason. Those directions are there so that we can make sure that the class is being instructed in an orderly fashion and that you get the education that you're here to get. You're here to get an education. Socialization is a part of that. It's an important part of that. But the most important part is your education and us being able to try to make sure that you get educated. So we'll make sure that we're all on the same page with that. Here in a couple of weeks, we're going to take a practice ACT test. That test will take place on September the 1st. That test is just a practice test to see where you are on the college entrance exam. It's a very important test. We need to take it very seriously. You'll hear more about that as we get closer to that date. So I just want to put it out there for you right now. Also, as we progress during the course of this year, we'll have data days where you'll go to your period 14 data day teacher, who happens to be your fourth period F&P teacher. We'll discuss at that point where you are in the school year right now, goals that you might need to set, and being able to try to do what we can do to make sure that you're successful during the course of this year. Excuse me, please. I want to make sure that you understand that the goal of this year is to make sure that you are as successful as possible, to make sure that we equip you with what it's going to take for you to be successful in high school. That's the whole goal of F&P in terms of what you'll be doing for the next 9 weeks after that. I got to once again say this. Inappropriate touching, or I got to say this, shall I say, inappropriate touching. One of my pet peeves is to see people hugging in the hallway. Please, 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 make sure that you don't inappropriately touch anyone. Every year, I usually have to deal with some type of an accusation related to sexual harassment. That means that somebody has touched somebody in a way that causes somebody else to feel uncomfortable. We can avoid that by making sure that we keep our hands to ourselves at all times. Just want to make sure that we say that. Want to make sure that we put it out there to you, starting at the beginning of the year, so that we don't have to deal with it later on in the year. So consider yourselves me. If you have any questions about that, see me in the hallway. I'll try to make sure that I illustrate exactly what I'm talking about when I say those kinds of things. My goal is to try to share with you everything that's going to help you be successful here. As I mentioned to you on day one, we have one rule. That is the rule of respect, treating others the way that you want to be treated, and then we'll have no issues here as it relates to what's going on. So I just want to make sure that you hear that. I want to make sure that you know that as well. Also on the school bus, make sure that you respect the bus drivers, follow their rules on the bus, and all will be well. As we go to the high school, please make sure that you stay to the right side of the hallway. Make sure, as I told you the other day, that you walk with purpose so that you don't get a tardy on your way to or on your way back from the high school. We understand and we'll work with you if you're coming back from a class from the high school, but please make sure that you're trying to get there in a time that is in order in relationship to that is within reason as it relates to where you're coming from the high school. That's the best way to be able to illustrate that, the best way to be able to say that. That's pretty much about all that I want to make sure that we say to you during the course of this year. There'll be other things that are going to come to my mind as we go forward. I do want to make sure that you understand, as I told you before the other day, there are going to be times when there might be someone that you might have a problem with. Don't take matters in your own hands. Let someone that is an adult work with you to be able to try to help you so that we can get you through it, so that we can make what I call a best interest decision. A best interest decision is going to be a decision that's going to benefit you more than it's going to hurt you. So I want to make sure that we listen to that. Facebook, Snapchat, those are areas that sometimes cause us to get into trouble with different things that are posted or said. Please understand, the most important thing that you all need to know is that you're taking care of the things that are in your area of responsibility. We can't control other people's opinions about us, but what we can control is our actions. Keep it 100 at all times, I ask you to do. That means that you realize that life is about 10% of what happens to you and 90% of what you contribute, of how you respond to it. As I told you before, in the word education, the most important part is you. You can control your attitude, and sometimes your attitude can control your altitude or how high you'll be able to go. So I encourage you all to be able to make best interest decisions. Best interest decisions are decisions that will be in the best interest of you and your future. That's the extent of what I wanted to make sure that we said to you during the course of the day today. I hope we have a great year here at Florence Freshman Center. If you are thinking about running for an office, next week we will have signups for that so that we can get officers elected. We have a freshman homecoming that's coming up, so we'll need to get some girls elected to court pretty soon so that we can elect us a homecoming queen. Lots of things on the horizon as it relates to this school year. Welcome to Florence Freshman Center, and let's have a great year.